So I can't just do a normal talk about the movie Coco. I have to spoil it. And, like, it's a spoiler video. If you haven't seen it, don't watch this. But this movie, like I said in my other review, that I thought that this was fantastic, and I think it is almost. I know no movie is ever perfect, but to me, this is one of those quote unquote perfect movies where everything about it hooked me and gripped me. It was creative and unique. All the characters were interesting and had layers, and everything about it to me, and visually as well, just everything got me. Everything works so well. Now, getting into spoilers, I really love how, like I said in the other video, that Pixar is very good at breaking down cliches for a lot of their movies, like, and they don't sugarcoat a lot of things, but they also do, in a way. And what I mean by that is Miguel, the character, wants to be a musician. He wants to play music, but his family is not allowing him to because the dad or the great grandfather left them. So everybody underneath him does not want Miguel to play music because of they don't want him to leave them either. And I like that idea, and I like that Miguel looks up to Ernesto de la Cruz, who he realizes with this guitar in this picture, he thinks that he is his great grandfather. And I love the idea of whenever he finally figures out that Ernesto de la Cruz is not, and Hector, the character that he's been following throughout this movie, is his actual grandfather. To me, was the most one of the most touching things in like I've seen all year. Like seriously, like this is the most touching movie I've watched all year. Emotions are on high in this movie, and I thought that everything with all the characters worked so well, and emotionally, by the end, I'm not gonna lie, I teared up so badly, and it wasn't just me in this theater. I heard when this was happening, when Hector is almost fading away, whenever he's losing his consciousness, whenever you realize that Hector is the real family member, when you realize that the picture is lost, when you realize that he is going to like fade away, everybody in the theater, I heard sniffling and crying all around me, and if it shows how powerful that is, that to me is a great thing. Like, I mean, movies, even bad movies, people can cry at, but I felt like this was so perfectly executed with this character, and how, like I said, you realize that Hector is the real great grandfather, and you realize that Ernesto de la Cruz poisoned him and killed him, and took all of his lyrics and is just a fake. He's the one who didn't write the music, he just sings, but he stole Hector's stuff and murdered him. And that's even kind of really dark too for a Pixar movie. And I know Pixar's gone in dark places, but I love that they kept that and made that, like, they kept that in the movie. Like, it is legitimately dark. I think that really really is intimidating for kids, but in a good way. And I like that we have that in the movie, so it doesn't feel childish. Like, the movie does take risks in a way that to me worked so effortlessly well. Like, it worked so well. But whenever you realize that Hector is fading away, and Miguel has to go back and try to and save him, I really really love the way it's resolved. Whenever he goes to Coco, great grandma, who had the husband, or I mean, who is the daughter of the great great grandfather Miguel. Also, quick note: I like how all of these characters, there are so many family members: great grandfather, great great grandfather, great great grandmother, grandmother, mom, dad. Like, all these different characters in Miguel's family are all distinguishable. Like, it's cool how we got like 6 or 7 family members that are all you would get confused so easily, but in this I loved how they explained it. It was written so well. But I thought that how these characters by the end, whenever Miguel comes back to the real world, and he goes to Mama Coco and he sings the song that Hector tells him, the "Remember Me" song, and he sings it to her, and that makes her remember Hector because Hector is going to be gone if she forgets. And then it shows a black and white scene with Hector and his daughter, and I'm sorry, the tears just were shed. Like everybody in the theater was bawling. Like I wasn't bawling, but I was tearing up, and I was just sitting there like, this is powerful. This is emotional. This is what I love in movies. I love that you can have a movie that can give you this type of emotion, that can give you this much of a feeling. It's powerful. It's a powerful emotion, and for something that's emitting off a screen, it's not real. Makes it twice as powerful to me. Like it so speaks so many levels of how beautiful this movie is with everything. And whenever Miguel, like, he sings a song to her and she remembers him, and then Hector is saved, but then you realize 1 year later that, because it cuts to 1 year later, that Mama Coco is dead now. And she's back she's in the world, the Day of the Dead world. Like, she she's there enjoying life with Hector. Like, again, that got me too emotionally. Like, that is so powerful because these characters are so interestingly written, and they were so likable and so interesting, and even if they weren't on screen as much as others, they all were important, and they all had a purpose, and they all, by the end, I was so emotionally invested in this, and that's why this is my favorite movie of the year. Emotions are a strong thing, and I think that if I can get this much emotion out of this movie, and how great the movie is on every other technical level, this has got to be my favorite movie of the year. It's got everything I've wanted in a movie, and this, to me, is a great example of a reason why I watch films. This is a great reason why you look at movies from different levels, and I think that this did everything right. And I think there's never going to be a perfect movie, but this to me was quote unquote perfect. I think that it's nothing wrong with it for me. The pacing was outstanding. The characters were all interesting. The writing was great. The the stakes were high. The emotions were as real as could get in this movie. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is it got me on every level, and I love the twists, like with how Ernesto de la Cruz wasn't his grandfather, then he poisoned Hector, then you realize all these different twists as they're going along, and they feel like they actually work really well. They're not just ham-fisted in there. They really work well with all these twists because they keep pulling apart layers as the movie goes along with these characters, and how you see they keep evolving throughout the movie, and I really love that they do that, but it feels like they all flow well. All these different plot points and reveals, they work so well. So, man, I still don't even, I'm still kind of flabbergasted at how fantastic this was. It gave, like I said, to me this is one of the best examples of why I watch movies. Why I watch movies for all of the things I mentioned, like all of the characters, all of the story, all of the writing, all of the emotions, all of the twist, all of the animation, just everything just worked fantastic. Um, God, I love this movie so much. I'm kind of I'm kind of speechless now. I think that I'm kind of rambling on now, but God, this just go see it. Go see the movie. And I know if you've watched this video, you've probably seen it. I wonder if you anybody else felt the same way, but for me, this worked incredibly well, and for the audience I was with in the theater, it felt like it worked incredibly well for them too. So yeah, this was fantastic. I again just kind of rambling, so I'm gonna quit now. Thanks guys so much for watching. Check out my other stuff, and I'll talk to you next time.